Guys, going to talk about the outside zone play. Larry Beightol.
This goes to my spot. First thing I want to say is I appreciate the invite to be here. I guess the last time I was here was about 5 years ago, and Jimmy was up here talking about some of his newfangled techniques, and I was sitting in the back there, and I yelled out, I said, "Jimmy, what the hell are you doing? You're going to get us all damn fired, you know, around here." So, but it is a pleasure to be here and to visit with you, and Bob's given me the title to talk about the outside zone play, which is a complementary play to what Howard just talked about, which is the inside zone. And but before I get into that, I took a little break here earlier today, and I went upstairs there. Decided I'd clean up a little bit so you guys wouldn't have to look at anything worse than you have to anyway for the next 2 hours. And I turned on the TV, and there was a flash that came across on CBS, a news flash that there was a jailbreak at the Huntsville State Prison down in Huntsville, Texas, and that Jerry Jones signed the 3 fastest guys out. So much for the integrity and character of the Cowboys. You know, coaching is just because we're in the National Football League, or that doesn't mean that we're better coaches or that we have more knowledge than what you have. And I think that coaching is coaching no matter what level you're on. I've had the good fortune of coaching on the high school level as well as the collegiate level. As Bob said, I work for Lou Holtz, and I'm proud of the fact that I work for Lou Holtz. There's a lot of people now that do a little bit of Lou Holtz bashing, and let me just say this to you. Those that do that don't know the guy. The people that do that, because I want to tell you something, you don't win as many games. You don't win 221 games and be a horseshit football coach. You don't win 221 games and be a badass guy. Lou Holtz, for whatever the reasons that he's no longer at Notre Dame, when he was at Notre Dame, they were a damn good football team. They didn't win every game, and I guess maybe that's what you have to do sometimes. But I just want to clear the air with that, and because I am proud of that. I worked for him for 13 years. As I turned sideways, that's why this part of my ass is gone. But I do want to say this about it. Lou is a terrific coach. He's a terrific motivator, and sometimes maybe he doesn't please everybody like maybe we all should, but I do know this. He is an outstanding football coach. We're going to get right down here to it, and I'm going to do this maybe just a little bit differently than, and I have a tape here, and we want to be able to take a look at the outside zone play, and quite frankly, you're going to find out that the outside zone play is better to the open side or the weak side of the formation than it is to the strong side, and I want to say this about it. You know, when I came into the league, I was a coach I was an offensive coordinator at the University of Missouri, and I came into the National Football League full of piss and vinegar, and I couldn't wait to get started and so forth. And I went to the Atlanta Falcons, and I think the only guy that had been hired out of college football prior to that to coach right out of college into the National Football League was Jimmy McNally. And so I took the job and went to Atlanta, and couldn't wait to get down there. I said, well, shit, you know, these, we'll give them some fundamentals and techniques. I didn't think they taught fundamentals and techniques in the National Football League. But I soon came to find out that they do. And the teams that were really good were the teams that emphasized those areas. the fundamentals and the techniques. Plays are plays. And the things that you were hearing about here early on, those are the things that you want to get to. If you are a head coach, and I see my good friend Rick Minner over here from the University of Cincinnati, and Rick is a humdinger of a football coach and a humdinger of a person. I'm not just saying this for Rick, but anybody that's an offensive coordinator or a head coach, be careful now about putting so much in that you over-offense your offensive line coach. Because that's what happens sometimes. You can only get good through repetitions. That is the mother of learning. And it's through those repetitions and constantly going over it that the players gain the confidence. And that's the key word. You show me a player with confidence and I'll show you a hell of a football player. Not one with a big ass or big hands or anything else. You show me a player that has confidence and I will show you one hell of a football player. For whatever it is, and you kind of put that in the back of your mind now and think about that as we go along here. Like I said, plays are plays. There are some people that are very successful in this league, and Howard's one of them, that don't even run the complementary play, the outside play, because they are so confident, they are so ingrained and believe in what they're doing that they don't need to. That they say stick with that play and they get better at it. The outside zone play, and I'm going to talk we'll talk about different things here as we go, but I do want to say this. I'm going to start off here giving you the basis of how you block it. Then what I'm going to try to show you, whether it's two backs, one back, or a couple of different things, that you can take this play. And if you have the inside zone play and this play, you have an offense in itself because it's there's so much that you can do with it. And I'm going to try to go through that as we go. Now, I put up here a 34 look. Okay? And we'll put some different looks in here as we go. I'm not going to be able to get to all of them, but we're going to try to talk about as many of these as we can, and then we'll take a look at them some on the tape. Okay? In the 34 front, or the oaky look, as you call it at different places, okay? We're going to start off by giving everybody a man blocking role, okay? We start at the center blocks, and that is the zero guy. Guard is 1, tackle is 2, tight end is 3. Backside guard is 1. Tackle, offside tackle is 2, and then of course the will linebacker would be 3. When we are running the outside or the zone or the stretch play, whatever you wish to call it, we don't feel like we have to have somebody in this area in order to block that guy if we are running the play to our right. We don't feel like that guy can make the kind of plays, even if he is slanting or he is coming down hard, can stop this from being a solid play. So I want to make that point. Now, the next thing we're going to talk about is outside breast to armpit, because it's right there. That is the landmarks that we give the people that have the men on the line of scrimmage. Do you understand what I'm saying? So if I'm looking at that, who has the guys that are on the line of scrimmage? Well, obviously, a tight end would. Obviously, the tackle would. We have a center, we have a backside tackle. So they already know their rules. Center has 0, okay? Guards have 1, tackles 2, and the tight end is responsible for number 3. Now I'm just giving it to you how we teach it, okay? I'm not saying that we're right and somebody else is wrong, but this is a simple way. That is a man blocking rule. The techniques that are used, okay, is referred to now as a full zone blocking scheme. Okay? A full zone blocking scheme, and that's where this comes into play. The outside breast to their armpit. Okay? Now what we will do here with this particular play, when we talk about it, because we're either going to run it to the right, which is an 8-hole play, or we're going to run it to the left, which is a 9-hole play. Okay? What we are going to ask these guys to do is their contact point or their landmark is the outside breast, driving that hat through the breast to the guy's armpit. Okay, that's what we're talking about. What would happen in this particular case, this guy would start by taking a drop step. If this guy is a 6, okay, can you see the line that I have there? That's a 6. The outside half would be referred to as a 9. Now, what he's trying to do here with this is to unlock his hips so that we can get his shoulders turned to get on the landmark and stay on that landmark. We don't want to try to torque the guy. We don't want to do anything except we're asking the guy, if they're all on the right side and right, is to drop it so that I'm going to unlock my hips so that I can get my shoulders turned so I can hit that proper landmark. Do you understand what I'm talking about? Now, the same thing is true here for the tackle. If this guy happens to be what we would call over here a 4 or a 5, he's going to take the drop step. The second step is trying to get it as down as quick as we can, down the middle of the cylinder. Okay? If the guy happens to be over here, I'm going to put this guy over here because we're going to come down to this situation in just a moment. So pay attention. When the guy is in the 7 or 6, we're going to go with something here that is a little bit erratic. Okay? Does it work? Yes, if the tight end is smart enough to make the call. That's what I'm going to say. It works if the tight end is smart enough to make the call. So with that in mind, this is basically these two guys, and they're hitting those landmarks right there. The guard has one, he takes the drop step, and he runs what we call a half-moon course. Over here, it all depends on what we're doing here, but this guy takes the drop step, and he's coming through because he knows that the backside guard is going to protect him at all costs. That's where the zone's in. That's the full zone scheme that we're talking about. So if the guard and the tackle are covered there, or excuse me, the guard's covered with a guard bubble, then these two are going to work together, and we refer to that as a possible slip. On the backside here, this would be a backside A, okay, where the backside guard and center are going to work to the nose, to the, I'm going to list this as a peg linebacker for whatever reason. I could list it as a B. And then, of course, the same things that we're going to teach on the backside of the cut-up block is basically the same thing that Howard was talking about earlier. Okay? Now, with that in mind, that's basically how this would start. And the back now, okay, he will start, and his aiming point is at the butt of the tight end. That's his aiming point. But I want to make this coaching point clear to you. It's not a slant play. It's a stretch. So when he reaches, the back reaches, the onside tackle box, he wants to flatten the play out. Flatten it out so that he is looking right at the sideline, but he's reading the block of the tight end. That is what's critical about the play on the outside zone. Now, with this in mind, what I've done here is I kind of drew up here a little bit of a half line set up here so we can talk about this. Again, you've got the 5 technique, you've got a 9 technique. What they want to do right here, drop step, outside breast, armpit. He rocks inside, and he's scraping over the top in that manner. These two guys are going to slip it, okay? And one of the keys is that block right there. Because what they'll want to do is they want to try to hook the guy. One of the things that they invariably try to do is that the tight end will lead, which is okay. I'm not big about whether you're a lead guy or you're a drop step guy or whatever it is. I know this, that you have to unlock your hips, and however you teach getting your hips unlocked, that's the critical thing. Because if I don't unlock my hips, or I step in the bucket, I don't have power or leverage in order to get the job done. That's what we're trying to say here to you. If we happen to get a scenario where we get a 4 or a 4 eye, the 4 is a head-up technique, a 4 eye is a guy that's inside, and we teach this. You can teach this. All it is the old Bum Phillips numbering system for defensive techniques. It's not hard or difficult at all. And all it is if the player is playing head-up on you, he's a 0 technique on the center. If he's head up at guard, he's a 2 technique. If he's head up at tackle, he's a 4. And if he's head up as a tight end, he's 6. And it goes the other way to the left. So however you want to get to your communication, if you want to talk about him as head up or outside shade, inside shade, it's immaterial. But you have to be able to communicate it because it's important, because sometimes a line call will be made which may change the scheme. When the guy moves to an inside technique right there or head, it does not change their footwork, but their landmarks, they have to understand that they have to tighten down the drop step. Because if a guy is head up here and I drop like this, and his ass fires straight ahead and hit me there, okay, before I can get my second step down, I'm not going to be any value at all to the adjacent lineman who happens to be the guard. Okay? So you have to be able to tell them, they have to be able to see how these guys will play them differently inside here. On the back side, okay, I didn't cover that, and I want to cover that right now. We call this a reach and snatch technique if he happens to move to a shaded position. As long as he is playing a zero technique, the center uses the same exact thing. He's going to take the drop, the second step is there, to put this hand and keeping this hand free. Just exactly what he talked about earlier. There's no difference on the play. Where we are sometimes a little bit different is we ask the backside guard, through some film study, to come down there and cut. Now nobody likes to hear cutting. They don't like it. You know, those defensive players, God bless them, they don't want anybody to touch their little knees because they can't make that millions of dollars. And of course they fire guys like my ass for not getting that done. So what we tell them to do is, hey, that guy wants your job, you've got to get out there and you've got to cut his ass down. That's the one area that they don't protect in the National Football League. They don't protect their legs very well. That's one thing they don't do. Because see, in practices, we don't do any cutting. We're not allowed. I mean, shit, Jimmy would fire my ass in a second. If I cut one of his guys, one of those defensive linemen, he's paying them a bunch of money. So we can't do that. So we have to practice that some other way, and we do it sometimes with just an old bag. That's all we do. But it's hard sometimes to sell these players to that because they say, well, I don't want to hurt somebody. You're not really going to hurt if you do it properly. If you'll use your shoulder pad, your forearm, and try to square your shoulders to the goal line, all those things, you won't ever hurt the guy. Now, what we're going to step down here to is this next one here. And only the tight end can make the call. Only the tight end. Nobody else. See, we've talked about a slip. Now we're going to involve 3 or more players, okay, with this particular play. And if this guy here aligns on the tight end, I'm going to move it up here to either a 7 or 6, okay? The tight end will make a gang call. Gang! Well, everybody knows what a gang is, and some of us know what a gang bang is even. But I do want to say this, and it's not just pulling the old train. The point is here is that we are going to take these 3 guys right there, and we are going to handle those 3 guys. So it's more than just a slip, it becomes a gang call. And it's predetermined and determined only by this guy's alignment, whether he's head up or inside. Now what this guy does over here, okay, he takes a tighter drop step, his inside arm is right there, giving hand help, and now he's hanging on so he can see where the linebacker is. I have a little point that we talk about a lot, and it really isn't pertaining to this particular scheme that I'm talking about now, is we say, hey, you're going to put 4 hands on the down guy and 4 eyes to the linebacker. That means the 2 guys that are doing the zone type of scheme. Put your hands here, but somebody, you have to be able to look at the linebacker and determine who's going to come off. Okay? So that's where we want him. We don't want him on the down guy. We don't want the hands on, we want the hands on the down guy, but we want the 4 eyes focused up here on the linebacker because he's going to determine who's going to come off. Okay? So that becomes important. But this call here, through this alignment, can help out invariably. Okay? So now this guy would be coming up in this manner, he would come up in this manner, and now the tight end would come off and pick up the scrape, and we ought to be able to have a successful play of stopping the inside penetration. Now that's blocking right there, fellas, versus a 34th type front. Okay? Now we're going to move it along here. We're going to move this thing along here, and we're now going to talk about a reduction. Okay? And I drew this up with the 3 down line personnel in here, but it really doesn't matter. This is what we talk about as a strong reduction, a T-O, in that manner, okay? All right, now, if this is the case up here, now we are going to ask the tackle to make a call. This call is either scoop or tagging. That's the terms that we use, okay? And it's determined by where this guy aligns and this guy. And you say, oh, well, listen now, Coach, I don't know if I can teach it. Well, if you've got 100 fucking plays, you can't teach it. I'm going to tell you that right now. You can't teach it. Okay? But I know this. You can't sweep across the fucking formation either. These guys in our league can run. And they pay them. They pay big bucks. So I know this. Hey, whatever little bit you can get done, and you can finish up by putting the hat on the right guy and sustain and finish till there's a whistle, you have a chance to be successful. But if you're just going to pull out plays and run different plays, you're not going to be able to get it done. So this tackle will make this decision, and here we go. If this guy down here is a 3 technique on the guard and he has a 9 technique right there, this is a tag call made by the tackle. And what this is right here. He takes a little drop step. His second step is right up the field, and he is going to block that defensive end. I'm not going to get into all the little details of a down block. Okay? I'm not going to get into that. But what he does on that particular case right there, when he makes that tag call, because he has the 3 and the 9. The 3 and the 9. These could be down linemen, they can be linebackers, whatever. Now the guard's going to take the drop step, he's going to come around, and he is going to block this thing here, but he has to read the tight end's block, because now the tight end, again, is going to base drive on the outside number of the 9 technique. Now, the ball carrier's read, as I told you earlier, is still right at the butt of the tight end, and he's going to read that guy's block. So what it might end up happening, if he gets some kind of displacement here, we pin this guy down inside, and he steps around the horn and reads it. If this guy's moving out, he comes right up through to block. Again, the outside number of the linebacker. Nothing changes on landmark. Nothing. Remember what I said. It's outside breast to their armpit. Keep stretching it, because what they've been taught is to keep their outside arm and leg free at all costs. That is a defensive premise, and if you ever break it, your ass is gone. You're not playing in the National Football League. That's what I know. Okay? Now that doesn't mean that this guy here, from a 9 technique, can't rock inside. That's why this is called a base drive on the outside number. Now, if the guy's working down inside, obviously the guard would do what? Come around the horn to block the what? Outside breast to his armpit. Nothing changes. Now we're going to turn it on over to here. Now he has a 3 technique, but he either has a 6. As I've drawn it right there, this kind of came off as I was jacking around upstairs there. Okay? When this occurs right here, now the tackle's call is scoop. I'll bring it up a little bit so you can see it. Scoop. Now the scoop is between these 2 guys right here. Drop step, it's tighter, outside breast, here comes the tackle. Drop step, and I'm coming on this particular guy, but I must read the linebacker. It's 4 hands on the down guy, 4 eyes on the linebacker. Well, if you got a 6 or a 7 with the stretch play, where's the linebacker going? You tell me. He's 99.9 fucking % of the time, and I swore I wasn't going to swear. I hope Kay's not out there listening to this shit.
Thanks, you said it before, Mac.
Well, this will be the last time I curse. So after the meeting's over, of course. And what they're going to do is scoop up, and they will handle that situation. Now, here's the key. Can the guard block the 3 technique? Most defensive people say he can. I say can. He can with repetition. He can if he'll do it right. And what that guy will do, he will take a drop step and he's going to hit the outside breast to the what? Armpit. It's a simple deal. You say, well, how are you putting that together there? You're putting it together. You're not only telling them here who they're going to block, but you're giving them their landmark and their technique as well. Excuse me there, Chuck, I didn't see you there. Okay, so everybody understand that, what we're doing there. Okay? That call is made. That call is made by the tackle when there happens to be a T-bubble. Does everybody understand that? So you say, well, the tackle's role you said was man block number 2. But there is a T-bubble. So there's the T-bubble, now he's looking down. There's a 3. Huh. There's a 9. Tag it. They stem it. We're still going to do it. You can do it if you work on it. Now, we had a question right back there.
Yes, screw call and 3 years across the strong side guard's face. You drive the guard, pick him up, and let him go.
I'm sorry, what's that again?
A screw call, 3 spikes flash across the strong side guard's face. Guard locked on him, you're going to let him go.
On the tag call you're talking about.
On the tag and scoop call.
With the scoop. His ass better block that 3 technique. I'm going to tell you that right now. We're not going to. He's not going to beat his ass across his face. That's what I'm saying. Okay? Okay, now, the next point I'm going to make here to you is we never run if there are 4 to the strong side. We start off by teaching this from day 1. If there are 4 defenders on or near the line of scrimmage, okay? In that manner, as I've drawn it right there, an old Eagle G look, we are not going to run this play. We will check it. Can everybody see it? It's this one right here. I'm going to talk to you about it again, right there. It's this look right there. So I'm just telling you what we would do. You say, well, can't you slip up? We're not going to run it because we feel like they have too much leverage on us when they're lined up in this manner. Okay? We don't believe in the center and the guard on this particular play. Now, what would we run? We would go back and maybe check in and run the inside belly play. But we're not going to try to run the stretch play to the tight side versus this look. So everybody have that in mind. Now, before I leave this, I'm just going to show you this real quick like. If this guy happens to be, let's say we come up there and they line up like this. It doesn't matter. I mean, I can put it in here like so. Okay, we every now and then we'll get one of these looks, okay? And we might have the Mike linebacker stacked just like that. The tackle now is uncovered, okay? That's our deal. The tackle's uncovered, but the tight end now over here, so that we will block this properly, or they could have, this could be the S and this could be the M. Okay? Well, that's 1, that's 2, that's 3. But to remind everybody, we would make what we call a turn it call. And that is the tight end's call. When he sees that the tight tackle is uncovered, there's no longer a T-bubble there, they will then turn it in this manner. They will block it in that manner, just like so. Now, I want to say this. The landmark never changes. It's still outside breast to armpit. But the best thing about that is, usually, they stretch wide with you when you go out there to block. That's the best thing about it. So with that in mind, I just wanted to show you that one point before we continue. All right, now. That's how we block the play. Now I'm going to show you something here. I'm going to show you, yes.
From the last drawing you had up there with that Mike Patterson in the ADM.
Right.
Does he present a problem?
Oh, sure it does. Sure. And a lot of that is whether or not the center can get up to him, okay? I think I have one of these on the tape. Hopefully I'll be able to show you that. And I'll show you some different things that maybe I didn't cover here in this part of the lecture, but we'll see them on the tape and we can talk about them as we go. Okay? Now, let's go back and break the stretch play down a little bit. Okay? I am a real stickler with players on doing the little things properly. I believe if you have a huddle, get their ass in the huddle properly. Or don't draw it up. Don't draw it up. If you believe in fundamentals you have an idea about stance. Then teach it the fundamentals or basis of offensive line play. Whatever you believe in as far as the stance. I'm not going to go into any stance here. I've talked on that lecture before. Okay? But whatever you believe in, teach stance. Don't allow a player to just get up there in any old damn stance he wants to. The idea behind a stance, fellas, in my mind, is number one, to be able to come off the football, okay? And number two, to play with a base. To play with your feet spread. If the players will get into it like this and stay on this with a base, they have a chance to have balance and control throughout any play, whether it's run or pass. And I believe that. Okay? So whatever it is, but I am a believer in it. Exactly. The same things go with splits. Now I don't want to stand here and tell you that these guys are going to do this exactly, because probably they're not. You know, I'm going to be made out of a liar here when I throw the tapes on you. But the line splits that we teach, we ask our guards to take a 2-foot split, and the tackles and tight ends to take anywhere from a 2.5. I forgot it there. 2.5 or 3-foot split. Okay? That's what they're allowed to take. They take the same kind of split if we're running the inside play. We are not going to close them down. We are going to work our footwork and our landmarks so damn hard that we are going to be able to do this. Okay? The back step is always 7 yards from the back tip of the ball, and it should never change. I already told you that we use man blocking rules, and I showed you how they work. Okay? 0, 1, 2, 3, etc. Okay? And we're going to use the full zone blocking scheme. However, there is a change when there happens to be a team bubble. Okay? With all that in mind. Formation and how the play is called dictates who's responsible for blocking support. And I'm going to go in to show you that. If you go with the 2-back concept, and many of you do, and some of you may use 2 backs and also 1 back. You have 11, they have 11, and it's not hard. I hear people say, well, listen, boy, we better not go out there and go with any. You're making it, you want to make it so simple that you can change up and give the defense a different look by changing your personnel and the formation and run the same play. That to me is how you have an advantage over the defense. Okay? Now if you're going to come out each week and run the same damn play, out of the same damn formation, and allow the defense on the other side to say, hey, when they line up in this, we know what play they're running. Well, that's how you're telegraphing what you're going to do, and that's not exactly what you want to do. From 2 backs, the fullback is responsible for support, and like I said, unless the other blocking scheme, another blocking scheme is called for. Now, when I was with the New York Jets, we had a unique way of doing that. We would call the play 18 or 19, boss, Zeus, boss meaning back on support, Zeus, Z on support, and keep on going. Okay? Well, I'm going to show you some of these different ways. At Miami, I'm going to tell you how we do it. When we want to run from 2 backs and run the stretch play, we happen to call it 38 to the right and 39 to the left. Okay? That's no bullshit. This is how we call it. So this is what it looks like. Whether it's out of the eye or a yellow eye. A yellow eye is an offset eye, whatever you want to call it. This is what we call it. Okay? If we happen to run 38, which I have drawn up right here, out of a yellow eye formation, and we just call for plain old 38, we're running the stretch play with the fullback keying the tight end's block up to block support. That would mean that the Z receiver will then block the man that's on it. If we wanted to do this out of a yellow eye right formation, yellow eye right opposite, then I'm going to cancel that guy out. I'm going to put him over here. That's now the Z. And you can run the same exact play. Okay? You can run it exactly. You can take the same play, and you can put this guy here, and you can motion this guy over to an opposite formation. It's still 38. In 38, the line knows that they're blocking man blocking rules, full zone blocking principles, outside press to the armpit, and fullback. You are now responsible for blocking the force. Okay? So with all of that in mind, the next term that we use is we might tem. Tem is a tight end. T-E, tem, is a tight end move. That's where that came from. Oh, that's slick, isn't it? Tight end move, tem. We might tem to an I right. That is Y motion, okay? So we would line up like this. You say, why would you do that? Because a lot of times, the support people are slow in their rotation, and they don't get up there as quick, or somebody's lazy making the call in the secondary. I know Rick's guys wouldn't do that. But you can get a little bit of advantage. It softens up the support. Now, what I was getting ready to say earlier, and I just now remembered it, what I learned when I came into the National Football League, okay, 1985, just fresh out of Missouri, that big-time college Big 8 program up there, where we got our ass fired, by the way. Went down there to Atlanta. We had a guy by the name of Gerald Briggs. And Dan Henning said to me, he says, hey, we want to run the inside and the outside zone play. Okay? And we did. But I told Dan, we can't do a lot of other things with it. We can have some other complementary plays. That guy ended up rushing for almost 1,800 yards. He was first in the NFC. We were second in the NFL at running the football. And all we did is we harped on the players to go back to some basic fundamentals that they really knew, okay, but that we just hadn't hammered them hard enough on. And they picked this stuff up like it was nothing. And to top things off, I had a damn 40-year-old center. 40 damn years old. Shit, I was 42. That grizzled old son of a bitch. Jeff Van Note. What a wonderful football player. You know what? He did more to buy into the steps and the techniques and the footwork than any of the other players that I had. A guy that had played. It was his 17th year in the National Football League. So the point I'm trying to make to you is, you can teach this stuff, it can work, but you've got to be sold on it to make it true for the players so that they understand it and they can gain some confidence. All right, now, that's a two-back play. Out of that formation. We already have the blocking done, right? Does everybody understand the blocking? Kind of simple. Simple. Well, simple is better. You've heard that old expression, keep it simple, stupid. Well, sometimes we're the worst at doing that, you know. Now, let's go to the next play. I'm now going to show it to you to the open side. Yeah, you know, you don't want to just be always running one side, so I'm going to show it to you. And what this play has become, okay, it's become a hell of a good football play for us. M means we're going to use man blocking. It also means that we're only going to run the play to the open side. Man blocking, full zone blocking principles because it's an 8 or 9 hole play, okay? And now when we call 38 or 39M, we are telling the fullback, that's what this word means, fullback, you are responsible for blocking the end man on the line of scrimmage. Okay? So with that in mind, what I've drawn up here, and this is how we call it, fellas. I'm not trying to do anything. This is how we do it. If we wanted to go into a weak offset eye, we would call it brown eye right. Okay? And now, it doesn't matter what the rest of this is over here. This would be 1, this would be 2, and that's number 3. Fullback, we tell the fullback, you block the emo. You are going to cut the outside leg and square your shoulders to the goal line. And this kid that we had this past year, a rookie fullback from South Carolina, could do this damn well. It didn't matter who we were going up against, because I'm going to show it to you. Nothing changes here except the ball carrier now is going to aim 1 yard outside of the end man on the line of scrimmage. Okay? Everything else is the same. The fullback goes in and cuts this guy. This guy right here is going to come up and block, and he takes a slight drop step, and he's got to block the outside breast to the what? Armpit. Okay? Over here, we're going to ask this guy right here, drop zone, outside breast to the armpit on the 3 technique or the 2 technique or whatever technique we happen to have there. So, will the center protect this guy? Yes. The center, I don't even care if there is a guy shaded on him. He will protect that onside guard, giving that guard some security and confidence to know that I can really come off the football on this particular one. Okay? Now, that is 38 and 39M. This happens to be right there, 39M. Now the X-receiver, fellas, is responsible for blocking the support. So now this play is being run to the open side. It is the stretch play. Everything holds true. But the word, adding the letter M tells everybody, you say, well, why don't you block the guy down, pull the guy around? We've done that from time to time, and I don't want to tell you that we haven't. But the base way that we do it is right there with man blocking. Okay? And the letter M tells them that it's a slightly different blocking scheme. That's what I'm trying to tell you. Now,
Beck, before you leave,
yeah.
the tackle's departure angle from the line of scrimmage to get to the W linebacker. What do you tell the tackle exactly?
What we tell the tackle is that you have the linebacker, if he's lined off there, and basically most linebackers in the league play between 3 to 4.5 yards deep. There is a team in our league, Houston, that'll play their linebackers 6 yards deep. But they're the only team that I know that plays their linebackers that deep. What we tell the guy to do, and it's not a big drop step, we fold around with a lead step, okay? We fold around with a sharp or a small drop step so that he can lead, because he's got the action starts out that we are telling him that linebacker probably will scrape and try to scrape across your face. Okay, so what he's going to do is he's going to lead. Now we do have a call. Now listen up here. I wasn't going to get into that right now. We do have a call. Okay, right here. If this end happens to be caught in, pointing in at the tackle, and the will linebacker, and he doesn't feel like it, he can get up through there, because if this guy comes down, he picks him off, and the linebacker scrapes right now, we end up with the guy being unblocked. So we have told him if there is a guy that is caught in that position, just like so, then this guy over here will make a call. And the call is Lester to the left, it's Ralph to the right. And what this guy will do, will take a drop step and he'll come out to hit the what? What's he going to hit? The outside breast of the armpit. If you don't learn another damn thing, that's the simplicity of the play. He is going to hit that landmark, okay? Just like that, and then, of course, the back, when he makes this call, the back then would come outside of this and pick up the will backer on the scrape, okay? Now, we're going to now go to one back, the one back stretch. It's, however you want to do it. This is 18 or 19. 18, of course, would be to the right. 19 would be to the left. You say it's exactly the same. 18 is the same as 38 blocking. 19 is the same as 39 blocking. But when we put it into the teen series, it means that we are doing it out of a one-back set. Okay? So when we teach this, when I'm teaching 38, we're also teaching 18. When we're teaching 39, we are also teaching 19. Okay? That's how it all works. Now, I'm not saying that this is our system at Miami. That's all I'm giving you, is our system at Miami. Yes?
Hard charging defensive end over there on that 19.
Uh-huh.
Can the back kind of look maybe looking for to cut down the side and come out, or is that a problem for you? Or is that where you get that yellow strip?
I'm not exactly sure. Yes, the end coming down is a difficult thing. I don't want you to think it's not, because it is. I'm not exactly sure if I totally understand your question either, Coach.
Penetrating charge by defense man. You still run the play, if I did that, you still run.
No, you're going to see it when I put it on tape here. You know, it doesn't matter if it was Chad Brown or whoever it was. You know, we didn't care. This kid could do this. This was something that he could do and do it consistently. Now, where he learned this, obviously, was in South Carolina, because all of a sudden we found out that he could do this. And that's why this became a viable play for us. At times when we've run this at some other places, it hasn't been as good, but he is able to handle. He's been able to handle these outside linebackers, and that's the difference. And like I said to you earlier, the thing that they don't do is that they don't protect their outside leg as well as maybe they should. Yes?
With the lesson called the fullback avoid the tackle drops that engage in the avoid totally, or do they?
Well, that's a good point. I was telling Howard and Mike Berry here earlier that we tried to zone block out, you know, and I'm in the meeting room. I said, "Oh shit, you can't zone block out. I mean, you're crazy, you know." And oh well, we need to try it. We just need to try it. Well, I'm going to tell you that you can't do it, because for 2 weeks we busted our ass doing it, saying that we could do that, and they're not adjacent. See, they're not lined up. The timing of it doesn't work out, Coach. I wish it did, because you know, the tackles seldom will make this Lester call. Unless that damn guy is cocked and pointed directly right at him, okay? They won't make this call. They will try to escape through the second level to block the linebacker, is what I'm trying to say. All right. So this is the double wing set that we use. And this guy here now, these splits would be 2. This split here would be 2.5 to 3. This split here would be 2.5 to 3. And it's the same over here. What we found out is with the fullback not putting him up on the line of scrimmage. Okay? We found out that here's a guy that doesn't work a lot with the offensive line. But if we put him back off the line of scrimmage, okay, now he's tight, his split is no more than 2.5, okay, that he can actually work there with that tackle. That's what shocked the hell out of me, because I kept saying, well, you can't do that. You know, I said, you can't do that. But what I'm saying is that this is the offensive tackle here, okay? This is the tackle. Here's where the fullback would line up. He would line up just like this, in this kind of position, right here. Just like this, off the ball. Now, the guy that wanted to do this was our running back coach, Kippy Brown. And he had been enamored with what the Washington Redskins had done under Coach Gibbs, where they used to have their Y off the ball quite a bit and still would go with its own blocking schemes. He said that he felt like that this would give this young player a chance to get his footwork right, and he was right. He was totally right. Now you say, well, why don't we do this? Well, because the tight end coach, he doesn't want his guy off the ball. See? So he wants him up here. So, but it really does work, and it gives a little bit of advantage when this guy is slightly back off the football here in this manner. Okay? Now, for whatever reason, I really can't answer that. But I'm going to continue here with this, because this is what I want to show you from the double wing. When we get into the double wing, as I have drawn right up here, this is the part that I'm talking about right now. When we get into the double wing, okay, what we like to do from this set is to let our quarterback go with a check with me. In the huddle, it would sound something like this. Double wing right, 18 or 19, check with me. On 2. Ready, break. They get up to the line of scrimmage, and what he will do is he will go opposite of the strength of the formation. In other words, if the safety happens to be up. Now here's what you get. Our defense calls this double switch. Double switch is kind of looks like an umbrella look, a 2-deep look, where both safeties will support on the action, okay, to them. That safety will support. All right? If he would happen to see it like this, a 2-deep look right here, we would tell the quarterback to pick a side, but we prefer you to pick the side to the 3 technique side. That's what we would tell them to do, right here. Now that doesn't mean that we won't run it over here, because a lot of times what we get over here is a buzzed up safety. We're not going to run there. We are not going to run to that side when that guy is buzzed up, because we do not believe that the ex-receiver has any chance in hell of blocking that guy. That's a bad play in our opinion. So we would run away from support. Number one, if you can learn and teach your quarterbacks and your players to run away from support, you have a hell of an advantage, and I mean that sincerely. Don't run to support. Run away from it. Why run into support if you can? Don't run into support. Now, if this guy is not there, I'm going to take him back out of there. If I can, I'll scratch that baby a little bit. Now it would be this guy's responsibility. And what the ex-receiver would do, he would start inside, just like that. If the corner starts to fall back and this guy's coming, he'll continue on a collision course to block the free safety, and then we would turn loose the corner. Because if they're coming with a lot of support from the safeties are the support players, the corners are cover guys. They're not going to tackle anybody. You say, oh, you're paying them a lot of... They won't tackle a single last soul. There's a lot of guys that play in the National Football League that just aren't tough motherfuckers. Excuse my language here. I'm telling you that right now. Okay? So, with that in mind, everybody has to be a blocker, see? Because now over here, we would go again. Now what do we happen to have there? We happen to have a T-bubble, don't we? If we're running this side. Now this guy's got to make the call. Is he going to tag it? If so, this fullback's on a base situation. Okay, you say, well, can he block that in? Hopefully he can. Hopefully he can. I don't want to stand here and tell you that he can on 100%. Okay? But a lot of times what you get over there is you get a 7 technique, and now what you get is a scoop. Okay? You would get a scoop between the tackle and the fullback working on the end up to the will back. Okay? Now, I'm going to carry it down here to the next one. The next part of this we're going to call 18 and 19 extra. Okay? One back. And you can see here I have a trips formation, okay? When I say trips or trips opposite, all I'm talking about is if I said trips right, which is the formation is drawn up here on the screen, okay? This is the Z receiver. He's responsible, fellas, for blocking the man and the lines on. Okay? Up we come with it. Can't tell it, okay? Is that a little better there, guys? Okay. With that in mind, okay? When we add the word extra, we're telling the Y and the fullback that they are responsible for blocking the support. Now, I haven't drawn anything else in here. I'm going to talk just about this little action right out here. Because this can really be effective for you. Okay? A lot of people don't like to do it. They don't like to do it. But it's great because you can displace this guy here. This guy can start in here, flatten it out in that manner, and he can make that cut up the field, and you got yourself a running lane. That's what you have. But it means when we say add the word extra that the Y and the fullback. Now, what I have here is I have a Sam that's going to widen out probably off the Y shoulder, and the strong safety is going to be in an old cover 3 position when you get this look. Okay? That's one of their, maybe they have 2 calls that they make in the huddle, and they say, hey, when they come out here in this trips formation, we're going to roll that sucker up here, the strong safety's coming up, and here we go. So with that in mind, this is how we would block it. That means that the Y and the fullback, and what it starts off is that you can see the drop zone step there, and the fullback takes a drop zone step, second step, and they're going to work this guy and then off to the strong safety. Okay? That's what it looks like. Well, what happens here is that this guy here doesn't want to get hooked, so he widens. He widens like hell. Well, that's what we wanted him to do. That's why we went to the trips. We want that guy to widen because now, if we can, we're going to put the pressure right on here if we can. Right there. And it's just there's almost exactly the same techniques and footwork that Howard was talking about, except our landmark on the 8-9 hole play again is outside breast to the armpit. That's basically what we're going to do. Now, if the guard happens to be covered by a down lineman, that tackle knows he's in a man situation. He can't just fly off the football like he's been damn shot out of a cannon. He has to be under control. And one of the key points that we teach is this. Okay? I'm going to make this guy here as the outside wide guy. Okay? This is a key coaching point that we teach when this guy is wide on us, because he can go 3 ways on me. He can go 3 ways, and he will. So what we tell the tackle to do right here is this. If he's wide like this in this kind of position, he has no help. The guard's covered. All I got to do right here, just to make sure that you understand what I'm talking about, I draw that little deal right there. That tackle's not going to get any help. And this guy here is playing wide because of the trip slope. What we ask this tackle to do is this. Take your drop step and your second step, bring it down as fast as you can inside his outside foot. Did you hear what I just said there? That is a big-ass coaching point. And when they cross over, when you get their ass to do this drop step and they cross over here, they get beat 100% of the time. That's what happens to it. Because I got a couple of those on tape we'll look at too. That little point right there has made more sense to our guys. And they do understand that. That way it gives them a chance to get their hat. Contact first, and then it's sustain and finish. But it's contact first. If I miss the son of a bitch, there I go again. My God, who's praying for me? If I get that right, if I can make the contact, then I can get my hands on the landmark. Now I have a chance to do something. That's what it's all about. But if I miss the son of a bitch, again, there I am. I have no chance, because now I'm going to be thrown for a big-ass loss. So that little key coaching point right there has been invaluable to us. Now, taking this along, because there's a lot of people who are afraid to death to do this. I've had to sell our coordinator on this. But this is the same play. Did you hear what I said? I went from the old 2-back or the I formation stretch play, and now we're into 1-back from a trips. Okay? So here we go. Let's continue on here so we can get into the good stuff, which is the tape. If the guy lines up like this, now you say, oh, they don't ever line up like that. Oh. They do. They do. They'll line up like that. Hey, our defense will line up like that right now. They'll do that. You know why? Because you never want to get what? Tell them, Rick. Hell, you're a damn defensive coach. Don't get what? Don't let those son of a bitches get outside of you. Don't let them be able to hook you and come around the horn, because that's how they get fired. That's right. So here's the point. Now, what I'm trying to do is I don't want to run outside of them. Do you understand that? We're not trying to run outside of them. Where are we trying to run? Inside of them. It's a stretch play. You say, why are you doing that? That's the soft spot when you get to this deal right here. Look where I put them. I put them in an opposite formation. Okay? Here's the same. It doesn't matter what you got inside here, because we're going to block them. We are going to block them. Okay? But when they're lined up like this, they are going to handle it. Now here comes a fullback. He took the drop step. Over here, here's the Y. He took the drop step. Second step. They're going to work on this Sam. If the Sam starts to widen out, he'll put a little hand there, and now he'll come up and block the support. Here we go. I'm coming down there. Oops. There's the Y. He's blocking out there. Get away from that baby. Run it up inside there. I'll take 4 yards every time. I'll take 4-yard gain every time. And so will you. I'd like to see our ass get 4 yards. I've seen too many of these 1 and 2 yard runs here lately. Okay? All right, now, the other thing that this gives you, okay, allows you to run this play. It allows you to run this play. When they buzz the safety up, I'm going to give you this one right here. Okay? We're now going to this one right here. You see it? They got a safety sitting right there. They got an 8-man front. What are you going to do? Well, I want to show you something here now. Because, hey, I've had somebody tell me this on our staff. Well, why can't we run it like this? You know, why do we have to go to a 1-back here? Let's go from this, okay? Well, let me put this in here. See, a lot of times, fellas, okay, a lot of times, football is just nothing but common sense, isn't it? Is it not? Isn't football many times? Now, how are you going to block that? Well, the guy says, well, fullback has a strong safety. Fullback has a strong safety here, okay. And these two guys turn out. Bingo, bingo. He's leading up through there, and we're trying to run a stretch ball. What do you do? Well, then we'll check out. Well, that means, hey, then you don't have a chance to you know, every time they know it, they say, hey, we didn't forget about any running over here, fellas. We'll work them over here to this weak side, and we're going to get ready for the passing game. Well, with that in mind, hey, things you don't have much to go with. But when you put it over here and the word extra fits in, that means that this guy right here becomes what? That's 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay? Just like that. And what you have over here now, when you have this little scenario here, okay, well, he's got a 3. Whoops, I got a what? I got a what here? All right, well, if I got a 6 or a 7, I'm scooping it. And now that means that the fullback here, you base drive on the end man on the line of scrimmage. That's what that allows you to do. Just in that manner like so. And again, here comes the back again. He's reading this. It may be there, it may be there. It's not going to be out here. It's not going to be out there, guys. I'll promise you, it won't be outside. And here, you don't give the back a chance to put a stretch on the defense or anything else if you try to block it that manner. So that's what extra does when you turn it and then bring safeties up or some things. It still gives you a strong side running play. Okay? Now, the last thing here, and then we'll take a look at all this. The last thing, fellas, is this play right here. Okay? We will now run to the open side. Remember earlier I had 38 to the strong side. And when I went back to the other side, I called it, or to the open side, we called it 39M. Okay? Now we're in a one-back situation, so now what we're going to do, evil means it's an open side play that the fullback is responsible for blocking the end man on LOS. Okay? But he will not cut the end man in this particular play. He will work with the onside tackle if there happens to be a T-bubble, and we call that scooping on the move. So with this in mind, any T-bubble, we would scoop it in this manner on the move. So here they come. The fullback's coming over, we're bringing him in motion. These two guys are working the end up to the will. They are going to work the scoop. And we teach the tackle to take that great drop zone step. Take it as much as you can. We would like for you to try to take over the end if possible. Sometimes it's not possible because the end will widen out and they'll bring the linebacker up inside. But we're going to work on this play to give us something because, hey, if they're going to rotate over here, if we bring this guy over and they're going to rotate their coverage, which way do you think we're going to run next time? We know that every time we can bring this guy over, they can do this. Plus, there's all kind of play action passing. You can bring this guy over, put him out in the flat and run it naked. Fake the play over here and come out on the backside. There's all kind of possibilities. So we want to have this play in. And quite frankly, this became one of our best plays. Okay? This became one of our best plays. Now, if you pull it up to this situation right here, which is a guard bubble, they're blocking it now. The fullback is now blocking the outside press to the armpit of the will linebacker. And now we have our situation inside where we got the slip going. A possibility of a slip between the guard and the tackle. So with all that in mind, that's what we would have. Where this really becomes a viable play many times. Okay? And this is where I really like it. Okay? We'll go to a trips opposite formation. We'll bring this guy over, and a lot of times they put the will linebacker out there, just like that. So they got a corner, a free safety, a strong safety, and the corner, nobody has to move. When this guy comes over, we found out that this guy many times is slow to come back. which creates this hole up in here. And basically, when this guy comes down in here, we've seen it break right inside of that play right there. And I'm going to show you one on the tapes here in just a moment. Okay? I'm sorry, I could not hear you. Okay? All right? But again, the will linebacker belongs to what? Who is the end man on the line of scrimmage? Happens to be the will linebacker in this particular case who was walked out. Is there any question about that? Now, what I've done here, yeah.
What about the timing of the fullback ending up behind the tackle?
All right, what we tell the quarterback, it's all based on the quarterback. The quarterback's going to put the back where he wants him, okay? So he's going to try to snap the ball in the B gap. The B gap would be the gap between the guard and the tackle. Right here, coach. He's going to try to get this back coming over here and snap the ball in that position. Now the guy that's coming over doesn't just come help it for election. He's going to come over there, he's going to be under control, and I'll show you these as we go, okay? Now what I've tried to show you here, okay, is some different ways to run the stretch play. The stretch play is a simple play. You can do it out of different formations. You can really do it with different personnel. I'm using base personnel because that's the way we like to operate with the Miami Dolphins. But we don't want to be just vanilla, where we only line up in an I or a yellow I formation, an offset I, and run these plays. We want to be able to go to some different things, and we'll show them here as we go. Okay? And then we'll show these tapes, and then we'll have some questions and answers here if you have any. If not, I'll shut up and sit down. But we'll go ahead right now, and we'll show this this little baby right here. Does that need to be, okay, does this need to be moved out of there? You want to move that out of the way there? Okay. Alright, this is the play to the strong side, okay? This is the play that we just talked about. This is a two-back play, 38 or 39 strong. Ah, look at that fine piece of fish. Alright, here we go. We're going to line up right here. We're going to start off here. This is versus the Oakland Raiders right here. This is all we would call this is yellow I right opposite. That means that the Z receiver goes opposite of the directional call and lines up in a slot. Okay? Now, because of this, the fullback knows because it's a 38, he's responsible for the strong support. They happen to be in an under front. Okay? This is just an under, what we call an under loose. Alright? Well, how come this thing is on the slow motion? I see. Okay. Okay. All right. Now, there's a lot of things here, and I want to say something here to you, fellas. We were not a very good run-blocking football team this past year. And if we're not better this year, I probably won't be asked back for the next year. But a lot of it is, right here, we got this tight end after our 5th game, and of course he's late on the takeoff, but this kid is a good football player. He gives good effort here. He's not really coming off the football, and he doesn't have the proper footwork. Inside here is a slit. Okay, this is a slit between the tackle and the guard, working on the defensive end up to the Mike backer. The fullback here needs to read this block so he can find out how to get up here onto the strong support. Okay? Now we'll take a look at it from the end zone. Those are the splits. Okay? You can see that this guy here, Richmond Webb, is not 2.5. I would say JB, I would say he's 3, and I would say JB's close to 2.5. Okay? The drop step is outside press to the armpit, okay? Try to get the inside arm up. Bingo, there we go. Now he gets off course here. I don't know why the hell he's executing a cross-body block, but that's what he's doing in order to get it done. The center here will drop it, and he'll use a reach and snatch on this character right here. On the back side, when we got this situation right here, we're going to ask these two guys to go ahead and try to rip through. This guy try to rip through and get up, and we will allow them at times to go ahead and cut on the backside linebackers. Okay? All right, that's the play to the strong side. This is against Pittsburgh, and what I'm going to show you here is just a 10 situation where the tight end's here. He's going to move back off. The Z moved up on, okay, the X is already there. The 10 means tight end motion, okay? Tight end's moving over here, and this now becomes a yellow eye left, and we're going to use a toss. We threw the toss in here for this particular game, okay? Again, the drop steps outside the rest of the armpit, okay? Now this is a scoop. This is a scoop, and this isn't a very good one. This isn't a very good one. Richmond Webb, should have taken a better piece of the end. And then again, of course, he doesn't really get up on the linebacker, and you'll be able to see this a little bit more clearly. This is Tim, moving him over. Now Richmond should keep on coming here. Okay? His drop step isn't that badly, but really, he ought to be using his hands, and he ought to be coming up through here more. He just jolts and pushes on the guy, and the linebacker, Olsovsky, scrapes to the outside. This kid makes a great cut, okay? Because what happens here is that Troy gets flattened out right here. Troy doesn't get any displacement at all in the execution of the scoop technique.
So, take it back for a second.
Yes.
What do you do with the weak side of the linebacker blitzing the B gap there? I know the tackle's responsibility. Can he do both? He's scooping the
If he comes through here,
the B gap. Let's say the tackle blitzes B gap.
A gap.
Yeah, B gap.
You want to blitz it here.
I want to blitz it there. So come under the scoop.
Right, he'll have to come off. He has to come off and pick it up, Coach. In other words, if this guy came off right here, that's what he's thinking.
Okay.
If this guy came off right there, he would turn and try to get squared up on the linebacker.
Beck, are you going to try to take over that team?
Pardon?
Are you going to try to take over the outside linebacker there?
Yes.
You're trying to take him over?
We would like for this guy here to take the drop step, okay? To take this guy over, because this half of it shows, okay, and push. Now we talk about the four hands actually the Sam backer here, and then the eyes up here to the linebackers, okay?
You actually want the tight end to knock him back to the center.
That's what we'd like, but he's leveraged. He's too high here. He's not under his pads, okay? He's not under this guy's pads. He's not able to get that done there. But that's something like a scoop on the move with a Y. All right, this is 18 and 19. This is against Buffalo. The only reason I put this in is to show you the slip here between the guard and the tackle, working up here to the mic. Now we want this guy here to displace. Now let me say this about this guy. His technique isn't perfect right now, but when this guy gets it, he will be the very best blocking tight end in the National Football League, and I believe that. This guy weighs 275 pounds, and he can catch the football, he can run with it down the field, and he can block like a son of a bitch. Now, he's not right there quite yet.
Who is he?
His name's Troy Drayton from Penn State. But a pretty good finish, as you see, his guy's going to end up making it. Okay? They don't. That's one of the things we are not very good at this time on what I call sustain and finish. And if we're going to be a better football team, that's something that we have to become good at, because we're not there yet.
Here, this is the second gate coach right here. Here in this.
Yes, it is. This is a check with me. You can see the quarterback right now. You see him in there? That's Marino. What he's doing is he's checking it. Okay? The reason he checked this is because of where this guy and this guy aligned. Okay? Okay? Now, really, what I would rather check to would be like a what I would call 15 and run it right up in here. Okay? They'll run the outside play, but this is basically how we had it set up for this particular game. Tackle takes the drop. On the scoop, he's coming up right here. The guard's coming on out. On the slip. We should have another one here. This is, now, against this particular team here, okay, this is the Indianapolis Colts. They will do a lot of stunning. And what we find is they'll run these quick, what I call ET games, okay? And the tackles read the guards. The guys that are these two guys right here read the guards, but these two guys will penetrate right now. Okay? And it ends up being an ET deal. Again, the quarterback, he sees it in this manner. He's going to go to this side. Really, the reason he is because this guy's just a little bit further back. That's what we noticed for this particular ball game. So he's going to end up running an 18. Now, you say, well, he's running right into support. There's no question about it. Actually, it looks like double support to me. Okay?
Jack, how well does Roddy compare to the centers in the league right now?
I'm sorry, Rick, what's that?
How good is Tim Roddy right now compared to the league?
Well, I think Tim Roddy's a real good, solid football player. I haven't seen all the centers, but I sure glad that I have the opportunity to coach him. You know, I've had Stepnoski. I don't believe he's as quick or as good a leverage player as Step is, but he's a real good football player, and he's a very smart, aware guy. What we tried to do with this is this. We told this tackle, this guard right here, take a drop step, even though you got the two technique, and look what this guy's doing right here. Okay? So he's going to take the drop step, and instead of looking at this guy, he looked at this guy right here to help us pick up this particular stunt that they're running here. Now what we're going to do is we're going to take these three guys, okay? These three right here, and they're going to handle these three in this manner. Now remember what I got through saying here to you just a few minutes ago. One thing is they don't protect is what? What did I tell you they don't protect? Protect their legs. It took me 12 games to let this, to get it across to this kid right here. They don't protect your legs, and finally start doing it. Okay? They finally started doing it where, I mean, that's not a great block, but it's extremely effective because this guy's not protecting his legs.
Ben, what's your call on that for those inside guys? So when those three are working that, what do you call that? I know you call it anything. What do you try to get those guys?
Well, this was a game plan type of thing. We didn't have a call for it because there was no tip. There was no tip for us. It's really a big slip in here. Okay, is basically what it is. But we didn't have a call for it. We game planned it for that particular game. This is it versus. I'm going to show you this one now. This is the tackle that we traded in order to get Troy Drake. You'll have a chance to watch him and see why he's no longer with us. First of all, he's to make a tag it call, and he went with the scoop because they are playing a 3 and a 9. Okay? This is called rejection at its best. I really call this a drive influence. This is a drive influence. I don't know. They're in there. They're talking about something, and you know, he and I sure like this guy. He's a real good fella. You know, he actually steps in the bucket. He doesn't take what we call the drop step here, and it ends up, he looks like he's trying the lead step to come up through here to get on this, okay? This, of course, we call between these two guys right here, this is what we call the gap. Between these two guys, it's a slip, and between these two guys, it's a scoop. So those are the terms and calls that we use at the point of attack. Now we screwed a bunch of this up over here in the backside. This is Richmond. This is the second game where, you know, he ends up not getting on this guy's inside number, because what we would do is we would do what we call a zone off technique between these two. So I put some of these in here just to show it, and hopefully we'll be better next year. And if you guys, maybe I won't have to talk on this play, or maybe I have something better. This is against New England, okay? And here it is versus a shaded nose, a 5 and a 9, okay? And for some reason here, like I told you before, we like to run it to a 3 technique side, but he feels like that this guy, the support, is going to be coming from over here, and he's right, over here, okay? So this is why we ran it this particular way, and we end up turning the ball over.
Have you ever head block that?
No. We never Ted block this. No, we will Ted block if it's the toss play. We would Ted block it. What Bob is saying is, would we block down here and do that? No, we won't. Never on the handoff. Okay? I'm not saying that it's right or wrong. I believe that with some time and so forth, that we're going to be able to get this. Okay? And I think if we have it again, that another year with these guys, that we can get this thing done here like we would like to get it done. Now this is James Brown here. James Brown is 6'6'1". He weighs 330 pounds. Okay? He's not a great athlete, but he's a pretty good guy, a pretty solid football player, but he's not getting on the landmark. You see it? See what I'm talking about? He's taking the drop, he's bringing the foot out there, he doesn't cross it over, but if he just let it go, if he would have let that hat keep going for this, now watch, here's Troy. This is we've had Troy now about 3 weeks, and Troy thought this is the way we wanted this done, to reach out here and then try to torque the guy. It's very effective right there, but that's not what we want. We want, because Troy thinks, and here's the only reason I'm telling you this. I'm not trying to talk about our players. Hell, I love our players. Okay? I'm telling you this because I don't want you to come in here and think, well, shit, he set all these things up. I'm showing you this because what we want Troy to do is to hit this guy's outside press, widen this guy. I don't necessarily think that this has to be outside the tight end. We want to make it a run daylight type play. We would like for this guy to widen and break it up inside. That's what we want. Okay? But he misunderstood what we were trying to get done, and he thought it was he had to hook this guy. Now again, he's late. But this guy is a talented football player. All right, now, this is the second game of the year, okay? The reason I put this one in here is that we're going to go 19, is to show you a tag, okay? And this is the young fullback I was telling you about, the rookie from South Carolina. This is his second start, and he's got this number 1 draft pick playing right there on his nose, a young fellow from Illinois. And he doesn't do anything. He hops out. He tries to base block this guy. He doesn't have the head on the outside breast of the armpit. Okay? And we don't have a very good play because this guy's going to be able to come off of this block right there Okay? It doesn't matter how big you are. A lot of it has to do with your leverage, your technique, your landmarks, and things like that. Believe me, it is. It's not always, the size of the dog in a fight. Sometimes it's the size of the fight in the dog, if you know what I'm talking about. And I really and truly believe it. A lot of times, that technique can really overcome a lot of the inadequacies maybe you have as far as size or some of those things. There it is again. You can see him. He's making a call. The quarterback decided he's going to go over here, and we're going to go with the tagging scheme. Here's the first step. Take a look at the second step. That's the key for us. First step is there. Second step is up the field. Now, I'm not saying that that's the only way to do it. I'm saying that this is how we go about teaching the down block on a tagging scheme with the tackle and the guard. And of course, the guard is to read the block here, and then he has to read it and come up on the linebacker. All right? I got this one gets planned out in a minute. Here he is. That was the second game. Now we're going to get his footwork a little bit better. Okay? He's taking a little bit of step there. He's taking that little step that we talk about. We'd like for it to be a little bit more pronounced, but this is better than it was the first time. And he is going to try to get his hat out there. He's going to get whipped here, but he's going to get his hat out there, at least out in the proper direction. Okay, now what we went with on this particular case, Richmond makes the call, and he goes ahead and makes a scoop call. A lot of it may be because he saw the fullback lined up there next to him. I don't know.
So that's not even right there?
No, this is not even. This is 18 or 19, okay? And the quarterback went and checked with me, and he's reading the secondary because we're going to try to run away from support. And really, he's right here. They're actually playing it with what I would call a cover 2 look. Okay? And if we can, then I said we would like to run that over there to the free technique side. Remember I said that earlier? So here it is again. Okay, well, Richmond's right. That guy's really a 2. This guy here is a 6 technique. So he's going to go ahead with the scoop. These 2 guys here will gap up to these 2 guys. On the backside, this is a backside B. Okay? So let's take a look at it. Drop. Could have taken a more pronounced drop here, but he does get his hips going out there. He's coming out. The linebacker's coming up to him. So they're causing us now here so that we can't get some more push right there. The situation right here is between the guard and the center here. The center takes a drop step, and he steps a little bit in the bucket. Okay, bingo. On the back side here, he takes the drop. This guy here, on this side over here, if this is a wide 3 or a loose 3, he takes a zone step, which is a flatter step, but because this guy's tight, he's going to end up taking the drop step as well.
Is that a B or a B1 because it's in and
this here is a B because if he would have been head up on him, Bob, we'd have gone ahead and said give us a B1. But because he's back over here, can you see what he just did there to him? He made a call to him, the guys on my outside. So he wants him to help him, okay? Because the linebacker's not in a position to quickly force it that direction.
When the guard chips out, is there any communication with the center, or is it just all field?
It's all through field. There's no communication. That's a great job out of center. That's why I'm invited to these clinics. Again, it's 18 and 19. I think this is another one. This is against the same team, same game. This is what we would call a 4-3 loose sink. Okay, that's how we are college 4-3 defense, which is a defense that's now being played quite a bit in the National Football League. But what it shows us here again is it shows us between here, the scoop between the left tackle and the fullback, shows the gap between the center and the left guard, and it shows the backside B, or maybe this may be a B1, Bob, I don't know how he's aligned there, okay?
Coach, what does B1 mean?
It means that the guard is going to rip through with the backside arm and shoulder to get up to the next level, and it tells the backside tackle that he's going to try and cut the 2 of the 3 technique, rather than trying to push it up through or execute the zone scheme on the backside. This one right here, this is it's just a plain old backside B between this guard and this tackle here. Now again, Richmond has some quicks about him, okay? He's a good athlete, a good-footed athlete right here, okay? He could have hung, but he felt like this guy's coming out, so he came up because he felt like this linebacker is hanging right there.
Coach, is your running back landmarks the same as if that were a tight end?
Exactly the same now, okay? They're exactly the same. They're at the butt of these 2 guys. Now this one here, I showed this one here because we're going to bring this guy up here quick. We're going to get you a situation here where we're actually going to get these guys covered up over here to this side, okay? And we'll see this one. This is 19. That's all it is. It's 18 or 19 check with me. We don't just call the play per se, okay? Because we want to run away from support, as I said. Well,
At times you've seen extra support, or is he always just dropping down?
no, he has, this guy here, he has the support guy. In other words, because of this guy playing an outside technique, he's going to read this like this is covered too, okay? I mean, we're going to give him all the scenarios to go with it, you know, but then he's going to try to block this guy right here. The only negative he does is, you know, is he tries to skate inside, keeping his shoulders square right here, and he squeezes the hole down, okay? Because Marino he's beautiful at this. He's just almost like he's like a coach out there in the field. He has he's uncanny about how which way he can do it. Now we give him the rule of thumb on how to go about doing this, but you know, he could read this. What he did is he looked out here and saw this, so he said, hey, old Beck wants us to run this over here to the 3 technique, and because this is how they're playing it, and we'll see it here from the end zone. Now here's the situation, and the reason I put this in here, okay? You see where this guy's gotten on the guard here? Can everybody see that? This guy here is moved from a 2 technique to a 1. The center will now go AA, okay? He made an AA call, which means when he says AA, he's telling this backside guard, I'm going front side, full zone scheme, front side to this guy, and we're going to handle these 3 guys right there. Okay? That's to handle the situation when you get this guy walking inside or this guy come back and running that guy over the top. Okay? That's the reason for that call right there. Okay? So here you go now. This is what we end up with. Let's take a look at it and see if we get it done. He's still, everything's still. It's still the drop step. Here comes the center. Here comes the backside guard. I'd like for the guard to be a little bit lower, but he's going to work hard here. They're going to now work this guy, and they're going to slip up here to this backside linebacker. Okay? So we have him pretty well covered up right here. Just like this. Now he flattens it. Now he sees the daylight outside. He can go ahead outside of the fullback's block. All right, now here's the extra, guys. Remember what I told you, it allows you, when you're able to put this guy up here in trips, here's a trips opposite, okay? And here, this guy actually, this is the safety. This is their Houston's strong safety sitting right there. Well, we don't care who it is. We really don't care. You put him up there any way you want. Now, but what this allows you to do when you got this guy up there, is to run a play to the strong side and take care of wherever they're trying to fit the safety in. Okay? Because we don't want to just do everything where we're running away from that, because we feel that's a heck of an advantage for the defense. So this is what we have in mind, okay? This guy's playing a 4-eye technique. There's the will linebacker. They block him out so they can have this kind of coverage. There's the free safety. There's the 2 corners over, okay? That became the Sam. There's the Mike, and there's the Will, okay? So here, this isn't even this isn't a perfectly blocked play. But what it is that because of what you have right here, James Brown, the right tackle, makes a scoop. And you say, well, that's a safety. Well, we're still counting them out. That's 0, 1, 2, 3, and now the fullback's responsible for number 4, who happens to be the Sam backer. So here we go. We'll take a quick look at it. I'll run it back one more time from the sideline. Because of his footwork, because of JB's footwork, he gets flattened too much here. Now then he allows the strong safety to get up under his pads, and that strong safety is a hell of a good football player who played at Ball State. He may have played for you, Rick, did he?
Which one? Yeah, Blaine? Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
He's a hell of a good football player. Now what happens here? Okay, now take a look at this one. I'm going to show you this one. I don't know if I can get this on slow motion or not. How do I get this on slow motion?
In the back of the gun. Just put that little thing down.
Pull it down.
Put it up.
Pull it down or up? Come on, Big Jack. Okay. Okay. Okay, which one? This one back here?
Back.
Oh, I see it now. Thank you. What happens here is this. Watch what happens to Troy right here. Troy goes too flat. Watch his second step here now. I'll try to get it on slow-mo here.
Just push it down toward you. There you go. Hold it there.
Okay, now watch what happens. This is tight in, okay? Now watch what he does here with the second step. Where's it going? He's crossing it over, see? Now he ends up too flat. Now he displaces this guy, but he never gets any kind of movement here. Okay? All right. All right, this one's an extra, okay? And this one's versus the Cowboys. Okay? Now extra means that these 2 guys, okay, now the only thing that we did wrong right here is we probably would have been better by just running it from trips rather than trips opposite, because they put their Will linebacker, there's a Mike, there's a Sam, a corner, but what we were trying to do, okay, I'll be honest with you, we were trying to see if we could get him to put Dion's ass up there. All right? But they did. Okay? Oh yeah, they did. This is Dion. I take that back. It is Dion. Dion's not going to, do anything. He ends up tagging him. It's good enough. Now what we have on the back side here, we have a mental breakdown here by JB. This JB should sift through here, and he's responsible for the will. The center and the backside guard are responsible for handling the nose and the mic. Okay? And then of course over here we ended up here. Now this is Leon Lett versus Keith Sims, and Leon wins the battle but loses the war right here. Okay? This is a perfect example when I put it on the end zone, where you're going to see that the backside guard doesn't get his second step down fast enough. Okay? He's going to get his ass knocked in the backfield. So let's take a look at that. And then I just have a couple more, and then we'll be done here. Okay? Drops it, but look at his second step. He never gets what? Never gets the second step down. Okay? That's why he got drilled and knocked into the backfield right there. This is, I put this one in to show you, this is 19 extra, and we're going to execute a tag it scheme. Why they did this, I don't know, because really the guy on the tight end here is a 7 technique, but Richmond, I guess, decided he's going tagging come hell or high water. But I'm just going to show it to you right here. And it worked out okay, but that isn't basically what we wanted them to do. We give them specific things, and right now what he's doing right here is that I don't know why he did it, but he made the tag. Richmond's going with the tag, and he wanted to block down on 92, I guess. Said, shit, I'll block 92. He looks a hell of a lot, he's not as big as this guy right here, I guess. Something like that. And now this is a scenario. Now, you can see our guard here is busting his ass, but he's not as good an athlete as what Blaine is right there. But we're still able to get it done. Now, here's that fullback that we've been busting our ass working with, trying to get the outside breast of the arm hit with a base drive technique on this outside guy, and of course he's able to hold him long enough till we get the play done. Now I'm going to show you a couple of the open side plays here. This one is against Pittsburgh. Now, one of the things, the reason we went zoom here is because when we went zoom against Pittsburgh, if we were in Brown, okay, if we just lined up in this formation right here, Brown and I left, they would bring this safety up. This is not a check with me play, but when we put this guy in motion, they changed their rotation. That was just off of that film study, and because of that, we went ahead here and just continued to run this play. Now here we'll take a look at the tackle. He doesn't do a very good job of sustaining. Here on the linebacker. Okay, they're lined up. They're in the 34. They're going to stem it down. Okay, now what he's going to do is he should lead through and attempt to block this guy right here. Okay, he takes more of a lead right here rather than a drop step, which is okay. We're not going to bust his ass, but we are going to bust his ass if he doesn't finish and sustain and finish the block. And what happens here is because he's big enough to hunt bear with a switch, I shit you not. And this kid here could never do this, but he's able to cross his face because of leverage. He's able to use his forearm, rip it, and get across JB's face right there. Now it's effective. We're still able to get out there and make some yards, but we would like this thing to become a little bit more efficient. I'll show it to you again over here. This is against New England. We just shift. This is called a shift here with the tight end. Okay? And now what we've got here is we've got a slit hooking right here between the right guard and the right tackle. They're going to handle those two. And now the fullback's responsible for cutting the outside guard. Remember what I said to you? The fullback had a knack for doing this, and this is why we went to this play. Okay? That's not a bad football player. That's Slade from New England, and of course he's able to cut them right down right there. What don't they do? They don't protect their what? Their legs very well. All this is just the outside zone play to the open side. Lined up here, we're going to shift them, bring them back over here. They lined up, we got a 5. They're going to execute the slip right here because that's 0, 1, 2. And remember, on 38M, he blocks the end man on the line of scrimmage and he's going to cut him. Bingo. This is versus the Mighty Jets. They're in the an under loose. Again, the full tackle has to come on out. All he's doing right there, I don't know what kind of step that is. It's whatever it is. It's a horseshit one. Okay. Now he's going to come in there to cut. Again, this is the defensive end who doesn't protect his legs very well. Okay. We got a nice job here done by the ex-receiver, and here comes Kareem. Now what ends up happening is when he flattens this, there's a lot of room out here to run. Just a couple more, fellas, and I'll be done. This is the guard on the outside breast of the armpit. Again, now the old, I don't know what he's doing. He's supposed to take a drop step and shit, he's pulling. Okay? And we end up on the backside here with a little bit of a backside zone starting off. But we'll get it. It may take us a little bit longer, but we're going to get it done. I promise your ass that. This is against Pittsburgh. Again, remember what I told you, so any of you NFL guys in here, if you want to remember that, right there, okay? That'll help you out to get them to change your rotation. I'm just giving it to you here, so shit, there's a little scouting report here. Now, you say, why would you put this one in here? Number one, to show you that Richmond's ass is way too high, okay, on this slip here, and because he gets up high, he loses his leverage. Now, this guy here just got $4 million. Where's Howard at? I mean, $24 million from the Seattle Seahawks. This here's about $139,000 a year guy. All I can say, it looks pretty good to me. They must not watch that tape. But as you can see, when you get some of these things done, there are some positive yards to be made on the play. This is a 10. We put 10 in here, okay? But we dicked ourselves. We said, well, they probably, if we bring this guy over, well, we screwed ourselves up here. But this guy here, I don't know how he did it. I guess he's using a little head and shoulder fake. Well, Freddie Barnett, Freddie comes in there and really pulverizes them, doesn't he? But again, here comes the fullback attacking the outside leg. He doesn't quite get out there and get his shoulder square, but it's effective. And this is the one I was telling you about where the back cuts back up inside. And those dirty pricks throw the flag. Watch those zebras there. And another one called back. Now the reason this one's called back, this is a rookie guard. This is a rookie guard. Okay? And we had to go with because we had a couple guys injured and knocked down. Okay? Now watch his perfect crossover footwork that I've been teaching on the side. And it gets called for holding. 77 is called for illegal use of the hands. Now, this one in here ends up, again, there's the rookie guard in there working with Richmond. This is a pretty good full slip right here between these two guys working up. Now, again, remember what I told you. If you're getting ready to play Houston, which you are, Bob, the linebackers play, they play 6 yards deep, okay? So you got that. Down to, you can send me a check, Bob, at the end of the month. Now, what he doesn't do here, because look how he steps, okay? He doesn't take anything to unlock his hips, so he can't get the what? He can't get the outside leg here and square his shoulders, okay? Kippy Brown, as our running back coach, he begged me not to bring this one. But I said, oh yeah, Kippy, I got to have something to say about your guys. And there it is here. You can be able to see this just a little bit better. But again, we don't want this guy to come back across Richmond's face, or to come across his face. If we can possibly get that done. That's one of the things that we want to work on. We're going to keep the same stuff. We're going to try to get it a little bit better. Okay? That's what we're going to try to do. This is one here. This is you, Douglas, I don't know. He doesn't. Here's what I'm trying to tell you. I mean, they'll pay these guys much money. I'm not shit. And watch what happens to him right there. I mean, shit. I mean, that's stealing. Just take a look at this right here. Now, this is O.J. McDuffie, who is a great football player. He knows this guy's playing inside. Now, watch what he does. Okay? Now, we didn't even tell him to do this. We got it written up now in the book. Because Jimmy wouldn't know how that all came about. When this guy's playing this inside technique, he's going to come inside, bring this guy inside. This guy's probably got a man coverage right there. And what happens is this guy starts to come up, he ends up blocking two. Just watch it right here. Larry Seiko, our receiver coach, took great credit for this. Watch this right here. This is a hell of a job by this guy right here. And then to pick this guy off. And of course, Kareem decides that he's going to just run out of bounds. And I told him, I said, son, you could have got a hell of a lot more bonus money if you had stayed in bounds there. But he didn't care. Again, this is a situation right here. Now, if he was caught more, pointed in more, okay, that's where Richmond would go ahead and make the Lester call there. There you can see, bingo.
Coach, did you tell them flat out was the best defensive end?
We tell them to come out, and we tell him that what this guy's going to do is he's going to react over the top. So what we're trying to ask him to do is to get on that outside breast to the armpit right there, and that's basically what we're trying to get him to do is to lead the linebacker because what he's reading here in the backfield action here, okay.
How do you pull back the line?
Fullback usually is 5 yards from the back tip of the football. This is the last thing we have here. These are the emo plays. Emos also are to the open side. Okay? Here we are in trips. I'm going to show you the reason this is in here, okay, is that he comes over and this guy changes his alignment. Okay? And what he does is he decides not to give any help. I don't know why, because he's a very smart and very conscientious young fellow. I'm talking about Stanley Pritchard. Well, what happens is that JB got his ass standing straight up in here thinking that he's going to get help, and he's going to get drilled there. But I decided to put this one in here, okay? Just to show it, so you can see what we're talking about right there. All we would call this is trips left motion, okay, meaning the fullback's going in motion, and we would call this play here 18 emo. Pretty good block here between the center and the guard here on the gap, executing a gap technique up to the Mike backer right there. Yeah, we'll take that. That's pretty good sustained finish by those two. I think I have two more left, and that'll do it. Now, I got this one in here because if the end shows, okay, in this case right here, this was a scoop on the move, and the guy walks outside. Now we've told the back if this end jumps outside of the tackle, you have the right to break it back up inside. This is all part of this particular play here. See it a little better from the end zone here. Snap this one too late. Okay, you should snap it when the back is, or the fullback is in that position. Again, we get a pretty good block here by the right guard. Contact, sustain, and finish. Contact, sustain, and finish. you have a chance to have some positive yards. Now, the reason I got this one in here, I want to show you what we call the bounce play. Watch this guy's action, okay? Just watch this guy's action, because his first 3 steps are the same 3 steps, and then he's going to bounce it, okay? And all we call this here is we just put it in for this game against New England, because they were so tight in here that we thought we could get this thing done here. So watch the back on his initial action. 1, 2, can you say it? Open, crossover, downhill plant, and then he bounces it.
You blocking the outside play?
This is the emo play.
So you're blocking the true outside play, that changes anything.
No, nothing else changed. Nothing else changed. Everything exactly the same. Outside rest of the armpit. We put it in because we felt like that this linebacker, see how the linebacker, we felt like the linebacker could come down the hill just like he did on the, if we were running the inside zone play. So we put the footwork together just a little bit longer. And I think one more here, and that'll do it for this stuff. You have a chance to see it a little bit better right here. This is emo. Falling back up, I guess. There he snaps it in the B gap. He snaps it properly. Okay, this is again the scoop on the move. He does give a little hand help this time for the tackle, but the tackle takes a drop. He's coming down. He's going to try to take this over if we can. And now he bounces it outside, and of course it was about a fairly successful play. This is 19 Emil. We're the will linebacker. That's one of the things that I was talking about, trying to get the will linebacker outside. Now he came back in a hurry. Okay, the quarterback again snaps it pretty good right there. Okay, they're going to end up actually getting these guys covered up pretty good inside. And the only negative is that we fumbled the damn ball. Isn't this a hell of a note? Coming back over here, now this is just an under with the will linebacker sitting over there, okay? The guy's coming over, he snaps it about in the B gap right there. Okay? They got the AA call on cooking right there. He's working front side. The guy on Keith Sims trying to come outside. Richmond Webb does a pretty nice job of getting this guy covered up, takes a drop step, gets him covered up. I'd like for his hands to be up in there tighter. Okay? And now he ends up and he beats the safety. The only problem is we fumbled the football. This is our last play, fellas. My time is about up. This, of course, is a 19 Emil. There is the T-bubble. Okay? Now, we're going to get the rotation over here, but the ex-receiver is still responsible for this. Then, of course, we're going to try it again. Richmond has some quicks about it. If we can help Richmond get his hands working better for him, he has a chance to truly be a dominant left tackle. Okay? And again, here we go. We're going to try to come out here, get him covered up, and now here goes the back. Fellas, my time's up, and I want to thank you for your attention. Hopefully you're able to get something out of it. Thank you very much for having me.